everybody, John at IPT Trans. Today I'm going to cover planetary failure in Mitsubishi transmissions. There's a few things that cause this. Number one is the dampener clutch control valve in the little auxiliary valve body. If this guy sticks, you're going to roast the planetary. So what you always want to do is, there's a hole at the end here, you could push in there with a pick and make sure that thing's free. That's another good thing to do after you bolt the filter on, because there's different types of filter bolt lengths, and sometimes people put bolts in that are too long, and what that does is it's going to bind up that valve. It kind of tweaks the valve body. So after you bolt the filter on, you can kind of reach behind it and poke that valve. Okay. Number two is this input shaft has all your oil feed holes to lube the planetary. Okay, it's pressurized from the front. These get clogged up. So what you have to do is knock this plug out the end, and you could spray brake clean or mineral spirits and keep blowing air through there and make sure air is coming out all of these holes. Because if you don't do that, it's going to fry the planetary instantly again. Alright, one other thing I neglected to add about the plug in this shaft. There's two different part numbers. It's roughly based on 1G versus 2G, but not necessarily. You have to go by the size. There's a 8mm and a 10mm, and I'm going to give you the part numbers for both at the end of the video. Alright, now the third thing we have happen is the cooler in the vehicle gets clogged up. So when you finish one of these transmissions, you want to put it in neutral with it running and make sure you have a quart every 20 to 30 seconds coming out of the cooler return line. And you want to check it hot and cold. If it fails cold, obviously it's no good, but just because it passes cold doesn't mean that once it gets hot it's not going to start clogging up. But if you have a planetary failure, the best bet's probably just to replace the cooler. And you'll see it on these planetaries. I mean, this one's good, but they'll roast so bad there won't be any teeth on here. It'll just be completely smooth. And your sprag will be melted, and the center support that it rides on is going to be melted. You know, there's no missing this. But when you have that type of failure, you got to explore all these possibilities, or it's a real good possibility it's going to happen all over again. Alright, this is like a little bonus tip here. Your input shaft obviously goes through to your end clutch housing. Alright, this shaft that goes to the end clutch hub has a bushing in it. I don't know if you could see that. Now, this bushing slides over the shaft, and if it's not tight, a lot of your lube oil, which pressurizes all these holes at the same time, is just going to leak out, and it'll do a great job of lubing up your end clutch, but it's not going to do too good of a job of lubing up the planetaries. So another thing you want to watch out for is that this bushing is tight. You could either change the bushing, or you could get a whole shaft from Mitsubishi if they're still available. I'll give you the part number at the end of the video.